Okay, welcome back to the Finley Formation. This is Brandon.
This Gage.
And this is Jared.
All right, we made it all the way to Thanksgiving week. This is years flying by, but yeah, here we are, Thanksgiving week. Yeah, and it's crazy. I was kind of hoping the Chiefs would be out of it. I think if they would have lost this last week, weekend, they would have been out of it. Kind of 5-6 versus 6-5 is kind of a big deal at this time of the year.
I feel like once you hit 10 games, 500, under 500, over 500 changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now after week 12, you're officially 2/3 of the season through. I mean, with the 18-game or 18-week schedule.
Yep.
So, like you said, I think being 5-6 compared to 6-5, that would have been a little bit rough sledding. They almost probably had to win out to get in. Now it kind of buys them an extra week anyway.
Right.
Looking at their schedule, looks like it's going to be pretty tough, but it's the Chiefs, so you never know.
Right. So that's you missed last week. That's one thing we talked about was do you I asked if the Chiefs are still going to make it. Now at 6-5, and I know we're on Chiefs watch because I'm pretty sure about 90% of the football fans want them out of there. But what do you think now? 6-5.
So before last week, I picked the Colts to win in this, so I was kind of hoping that the Colts would win, push the Chiefs out. Pretty slim chance of them making it, but what's giving the Chiefs some fits is their tiebreakers that they have. So they lost to the Bills. The Bills look like they're probably going to get a wild card with the Patriots having 10 wins already. And then they lost to the Jaguars. The Jaguars keeps on winning, so the Jaguars are up a game on them at 7-4. So the Jaguars beat them head to head, so they got the tiebreaker over them. And the big game, I think, for the Chiefs coming up that'll determine whether they make the playoffs or not is next week. I think they have Houston. And Houston and them have the same record. So if they lose to Houston, with Houston being in the same division as Indianapolis, you got to think that Houston is vying for a wild card spot too. So where the Chiefs, like I said, is just their tiebreakers. They've lost to teams that are probably almost guaranteed a wild card spot right now, and they've lost the head to head. So they just need to. I think if they win that Houston game, they have a pretty good chance. If they don't, I think don't think they have a good chance at all to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they haven't updated to like the if they lose, if they win stuff yet. But I always just look at the NFL and what they have for their playoff probabilities, stuff like that. They have the Chiefs at a 54% right now.
Oh, do they?
Even though they're in the 10th spot behind the Steelers, who are 6-5.
Mm-hmm.
They only give the Steelers 27%. Texans, they gave it 44%, 6-5 as well.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So I mean, they even got a tough game coming up on Thanksgiving with Dallas. The way the Dallas is kind of playing, we'll kind of probably get in that a little bit later. But like I said, they got Houston after that. They got a big divisional game with the Chargers after that, and then Tennessee, and then they end with Denver and L.A. or Las Vegas. Sorry. So it might come down to that last Week 17 Denver game.
But that might be flop from last year, wasn't it? Denver who needed to get in, win and get in.
Yep.
And Chiefs just set all their guys.
Yeah,
that might happen though. They
kept it a close game with their backups in.
Yeah,
but this one's coming in Week 17, so there's going to be another game
one
after that. So they still might have some to play with, unless Denver has the division, and they're still playing for the number 1 seed overall.
True.
So if they win that Kansas City game, maybe in Week 17, that'll put them at the number 1 seed lock.
Right.
So they might still have something to
be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not used to the 18th week. I
right.
guess,
it is confusing, huh?
So it's kind of crazy to look at. Because I was like, oh, it's got to be time. Somebody has to clinch a spot. Nobody's technically clinched a playoff spot, not even the Patriots.
Oh, wow.
Nobody's technically clinched yet. Their probability is 99%, and the Rams' probability is greater than 99%.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody's clinched yet, and only one team has been eliminated
in
so
the
far.
NFC, right?
Yep, one team, and it's only one NFC team is the Giants. They're the only ones already out of the playoff race.
Out of it. And what's funny is I feel like they've actually looked better than like the Saints, a couple other teams in the NFC. They actually kind of look better. They're just not able to get it done. And
I think they look better than the Cardinals, the Commanders. Like they could easily be sitting in 12th right now.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, and you got the Titans sitting there like 1-9.
They're 1-10 now.
1-10, and they're still not eliminated. But the Giant, because of the their conference, they're in. But the Giants are eliminated with 2 wins because I guess just the way everything falls out. But I don't know. I mean, the Titans are, they're eliminated.
Right.
But like they're not going nowhere. But just
And so the Bills just lost. And crazy thing, they're down right now. If NFL ended today, they'd be the 7th seed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Bills are sucking, man.
yep. Yeah, they're not playing well. And that's one thing. Like they did. I don't think they played the Texans well at all.
Mhm.
I think they came in with a poor game plan because I had said it that I thought if they were able to run up the gut, they would get it done and be able to do it. And they were able to do it. They started doing it for a little bit. Then they'd go, then they'd go back to the passing, and they just played right into the strength of the Texans there. And there's no reason they needed to pass as much as they did. And then they tried to go back to the run again, and it seemed like it was working for them. And then they got to that 4 downs there where they got, I think it was like 3rd and short, and they went for it twice to get,
Mhm.
and they got stuffed. And after that, they just totally abandoned the run game. But
Yeah.
it
which
was
is-
there. It was there in the
Yeah.
middle for them. But I mean, it was bad. I think Joe Brady. I've been liking his play calling for the most part, but I think he really screwed up this time, and he kind of hung Josh Allen out there to dry a little bit because that Texans pass rush is incredible.
Yeah. It's like, yes, you have the reigning MVP quarterback, and yes, in most cases, he could get it done. But when you have Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, the 2 of the 4 DNs in the league that could outrun Josh Allen,
Mhm.
both on
Yeah.
the same team running from different edges, nobody's going to succeed there.
He
Like,
looked timid too because there was a couple times where he could have just took
Yeah.
off, and he didn't.
I think a big part of that is you're missing, whatever's going on with Keon Coleman. He's been a healthy scratch the last 2 weeks. Dalton Kincaid, for as well as I think he was playing at the beginning of the year, he's been hurt the last 3 or 4 games. It kind of seems like. So you look at that game and he's throwing the ball. He still has Shakir out there who's doing pretty good for him. But I mean, it's just, Dawson Knox is Dawson Knox. I think there was a reason they went and drafted Dalton Kincaid, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like he has a whole lot of option who he's thrown to, or he doesn't have
Tyrell
right.
Shavers.
yeah, or maybe it's just not a whole lot of chemistry that he has with the guys that he's throwing the ball to. So it's just not, you tie it into what Joe Brady's, like you said, what Joe Brady's been doing. Maybe Joe Brady just doesn't feel comfortable with the same play calls as he does with, having Keon Coleman or Dalton Kincaid or who else out there that Josh Allen's comfortable with. I was just looking this up. So it kind of felt like watching that game over the last couple of weeks with the Buffalo Bills that Josh Allen, last year for all the praise that we gave him, like he's kind of, done a better job of taking care of the football and not having those, not having to be Superman for them to win games. He's kind of,
Yeah.
taking what the defenses kind of give him. He only had 6 interceptions last year. He's up to 9 already this year, and he only took 14 sacks last year, which is crazy for a 17-game schedule. He took 8 sacks against the Houston Texans in that one game,
One game.
and he's up to 28 this year so far. So kind of goes to show you, and I don't know if Josh Allen feels like he has to, but it kind of seems like we talked about it after that first Ravens game, like how much he had to do for them just to even get a victory, like
Yep.
squeak out a 1-point win. Like, I don't know if he's just feeling that pressure of like, I have to do too much to put us over the top, which is kind of crazy because they have a really good running game with James Cook.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Joe Brady just kind of goes away from that at times where he doesn't need to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take the load off of Josh Allen's shoulders.
Yeah. And I felt like if they would have stuck with that, they would have been good.
Yeah. well, and I mean, especially after the injury scare you have with your reigning
Oh, yeah.
MVP quarterback that
Yeah.
they had in the first quarter.
Yep.
Get chased down, which I think is why he was timid to leave the pocket because he did one time and he got messed up and threw a tantrum.
No, he hadn't left the pocket. He just kind of moved up in the
It looked
pocket
like
and
he
was getting ready to
take
throw.
off.
Mm-hmm.
But he was still looking to throw, so he kind of stopped to look. But if he would have took off, he wouldn't have took that hit.
Yeah,
But I know what you mean, though.
I think he takes a hit either way because, like I said, both the ends are faster
Yeah,
than
but
him,
he's
so
not.
he'll get him
Yeah,
with
they're
the
gonna have to
football.
dive at it, take him down, and you can't do the, hit that hard
Yeah,
like that.
but I wonder how much that did affect because he was like crying out there because of his
His
wrist.
wrist.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's like that probably affected. It's like as an offense coordinator, how do you not see that and be like, or how do you see that and be like, oh yeah, you're throwing the ball the rest of the game?
Right.
Well, and I'm pretty sure it was his left tackle who got injured too. I mean, he ended up coming back, but he was playing injured. You
Mhm.
could
Yeah.
you could see that he was hurt.
What was
And-
the Spencer Burford right tackle, right?
Was it the right
Yeah.
tackle? Either way, I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, either
His left
tackle's
tackle
gonna
just sucks ass. His right tackle's good, but
But yeah, I mean, you could tell that that dude was not playing well, or not on all cylinders,
Mhm.
and they still just kept drop back pass, drop back pass.
Well, part of that too. I mean, just let alone just the passing game. I don't think they were giving any help to those tackles either. I think they were just sending 5 out on every pass play, not doing anything besides 5-man protection.
No
It was like,
chipping.
okay,
Yeah,
all right, this is what you're gonna live with, I guess,
yeah, it was
which is
bad.
crazy.
It was bad. And Josh Allen, I'm no. I mean, he's thrown a couple bonehead interceptions, I think, in both of the last two games. And maybe he only threw one in this game against the Texans, but still, I mean, there's some bonehead shit he does. So it's not
Hmm.
just taking it all away, it's not everybody else, but they're not helping him at all.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was a bad game. Texans look good though. I mean, their defense is incredible. And of course, we know that pretty much any offense is going to be able to go against the Bills and do well.
yeah.
So,
But I mean, like I said, any offense can. But Davis Mills
Davis, yeah,
looks really good in that offense. Like
yeah.
I was talking to you during the game and stuff, and even before the game, and he runs it just as well, if not better, than C.J. Stroud was
Mhm.
before he went down too. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if it's just they simplified like every offense in the league to where any quarterback can play in them, or what happened. But
Yeah, I don't
seems
know.
like you could just plug and play with quarterbacks nowadays.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about it the last because this was the third game that he's played in. Davis Mills.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, he's played well. I mean, the thing that Davis Mills does well is it doesn't turn the ball over. So
Yeah.
as long as you're giving your defense a chance and playing with good field position, we talked about it last year during that Kansas City game in the playoffs. Is what their downfall was is Kansas City was playing on a short field the whole time. And I thought the defense played really well.
Yeah.
It's just when you're already pretty much 10 yards away from field goal range,
Yep.
giving the Chiefs the ball and then letting the refs kind of control that game, giving Patrick Mahomes some pretty cheap penalties too.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
I've been impressed with this defense all year long. I can't remember. I think there's only one game that somebody scored over 20 points on them. So it's pretty much like if you don't score 20 points, you're going to be in a
And that was the
dogfight with them.
Jaguars, wasn't it? They
I
scored
think so.
31. And then the Texans come back and beat them anyway. But
Hmm.
yeah, that was crazy that it's the Jaguars who
Yep.
really don't have a great offense.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, oh, yeah, they're an offensive powerhouse, but they're the ones
Right.
who were able to do it.
Yep.
So yeah, that one was kind of an ugly game for the Bills. They're teetering. And the Patriots, I mean, I think they're getting it done, and they had to get it done in different ways against, like we just talked about beforehand, against the Bengals.
Hmm.
But I am starting to see cracks in that Patriots offense. You're starting to see that they're starting to slow down. They're not even Drake May's not looking as good. I kind of expecting them to be really explosive and good against that Bengals defense, but
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't look great. What do you guys think? You think they're going to hang on and do some work in the playoffs, or
I think they can. I mean, it's a young team, so of course that always worries people, especially like running back, zero playoff experience, quarterback, zero playoff experience, and I can't even name wide receivers on their team very well. So it's like it doesn't matter if you have playoff experience. or
Stephon
not
Diggs
because you're
does,
running.
but the rest of them don't. I don't think.
Yeah. So I mean, it sucks that they have no experience, but I think I'm gonna be right. Still on their train, up until they do lose and get kicked out. Cause I mean, if Drake May can at least manage the game like he did against the Bengals, even if he's not having a great day, he managed it well enough, and their offense still put up 26. And even if he could just manage the offense well enough, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of gives me a little bit of pause about this team is just like you guys are saying there, how young they are. I don't think, Drake May doesn't have any playoff experience, but one thing that might kind of help them is, you got Mike Vrabel as your head coach, you got Josh McDaniels as your offensive coordinator. So people that have, at least Super Bowl experience, so success in the playoffs are at the helm of, a head coach and the offense. So I'm not too worried about Drake May. So this was actually, I don't know if we're actually going to get into overreaction, underreaction, but the Patriots were going to be my overreaction,
Mhm.
just because I've took a peek at their schedule, and they've only have 2 victories over teams that are technically in the playoffs right now, and that's Buffalo and Tampa Bay. So their wins so far this year have come against Miami, Carolina, Buffalo, New Orleans, Tennessee, Cleveland, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, the Jets, and Cincinnati. And then the rest of the way, they only have they got the Giants coming up, they got Buffalo again, then they got Baltimore, then they got the Jets and Miami. So I don't think, maybe the Buffalo and Baltimore back-to-back games will give them a kind of a true test of see how well they'll kind of compete in the playoffs. But obviously they've done a great job of winning these close games because they won a 1-point game against Atlanta, they won a 5-point game against Tampa Bay, and then they gritted out again a game against Cincinnati. So it's not like they're blowing out teams, and you just
Right.
don't know how well they'll face adversity come the playoff situations. So
Uh,
the only thing that would give me pause is just how young they are, and Drake May only being in his second year, but
nah,
they're grinding out these wins, which
right.
was good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the fact that their defense is playing well, and I don't think they had what was it, Milton Williams? Milton
Mm-hmm.
Williams.
Yeah.
I don't think he was playing, and they were still able to get it done. That he's a big piece on that interior
Yep.
line. So on defense, so their defense is actually playing really well. So I think as long as your defense is playing well, like Gage says, you have a chance at it. So I could definitely see them winning one playoff game. I don't know if they're going to be ready to go against your Baltimore's, your Buffalo, all that stuff. If they do get into the division championships, all that type of stuff. So it'll be crazy. I mean, they could still end up with the number one seed though,
Right.
which is wild. But I like them. I can see where it's like, I'd be hesitant to say that they're going to win a Super Bowl, but it would be awesome to see. But yeah, and their offense is showing cracks.
To see.
Huh?
It wouldn't be awesome to see. What? Hello? Yeah. It wouldn't be that awesome. What the heck?
So yeah,
Hello?
There
Okay.
you go.
There we
You're
go.
back- You're back on.
I'm just talking about a rookie quarterback going in, or second year guy, I guess, going and
Yeah,
getting it
second
done
year
again.
guy. See what you're
Mhm.
saying, but I don't care about the situation. I still don't want the Patriots to win a Super Bowl again.
I guess it's just for me. I know it seems like it's been a long time since we have anybody else but the freaking Chiefs representing from over there. So maybe that's all I'm thinking too. But
Yeah, maybe.
somebody different would be nice. Yeah, I don't know. I think their offense kind of shown cracks. I'm kind of surprised we and Jared were talking before. Can't believe they went away from Travion and still stuck with put Stevenson in as much as they did. I'm sitting there going, you got to be kidding me. He's done nothing but hit home runs for him the last couple games. He's been explosive, and they, went with Stevenson, and didn't seem like they were going to. Didn't seem like he'd be that guy, but yeah, Variable did though. That kind of surprised me. um, so we talked also last week about the Vikings a little bit. I think that officially, I mean, I know officially they're still in it, but I think they're done. I think they're cooked. I don't see them making it to the playoffs. We got, 5 games left or whatever it is. I don't see them being able to get it done. 6 games left.
Yeah, I think the tough spot the Vikings are in because last I heard, JJ McCarthy's in concussion protocol, so it's just like, are they trying to not play him? I mean, is this something that
I'd be trying to not play him.
and that's what I was trying to get at. I was like, is this we're kind of seeing the end of the JJ McCarthy experiment and the Vikings organization? It's just, I don't know. It hasn't been good.
Yeah.
And
Have you guys seen the comparisons for J.J. McCarthy right now and who they're comparing him to? So he has less yards, 1 more touchdown, 7 more interceptions, worst QBR and a worst completion percentage than Jamarcus Russell
Oh, no.
in his first 11 starts.
That's
yeah, I
bad.
did see something like that.
Yep. You look at the Vikings who had Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones in their building last year. They let them both walk to I don't blame them. You had to see what you had in JJ McCarthy because you spent a first round pick on him, and you did some maneuvering before the draft started to kind of move up in that draft. I think with some future draft picks to kind of move up to number 10. I think to draft him. But yeah, it's got to be frustrating to see what kind of Sam Darnold's been doing in Seattle, and then what Daniel Jones has been doing in Indy, and
Yeah.
knowing you've had them both in the building.
And then they sold out in free agency,
And
thinking they had a quarterback on rookie contract.
hmm
So it's time to sell out. They did, they're paying a lot of money for this team.
Yeah, they
To just lay an egg.
they still stole the Colts. Best parts of their line with their left guard and their center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they sold out on free agency, and I don't know. Maybe they should just do that again and just make sure quarterback's part of it.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's going to be there, but anybody
Probably
right now,
Mac Jones.
anybody but Carson Wentz is going to be better, I guess.
Seems like seems like KOC and Kyle Shanahan are on the same wavelength
They
with
are, yeah.
quarterback, so he'll probably just go after Mac Jones.
Yeah.
You take him for a year, get him under your wing, and then have him come into my system. I'll make him a starter and
Right.
get him paid.
And
Just
then I'll
swap
put
those
him
guys
down.
in some picks.
I'll throw him in somewhere in the league, and if they just produce crazy quarterbacks, those two as a team.
Yeah, I think they're cooked. I think they're done. They might get another win or two, but I don't think they're making the playoffs by any means. And it's crazy with that NFC North division. I mean, the teams, like, I don't feel real confident in what the Lions have been doing. Not real confident in what the Packers have been up to. I mean, I know the records still look good, but they don't look real confident. I mean, the Bears, they're in and out of games the whole way,
Right.
just able to eke it out. So they're what I thought was going to be one of the toughest division in football again, isn't really at all. Like,
Yeah.
it's probably not last because I'd still put the NFC South last, but they're right there with them.
No, they're last.
So
Yeah, the Bears are tough to put a finger on because every time they win a game, it's always like a one-score game or something that's coming down to like a last-second field goal or something like that. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, I think it's kind of cool that you're kind of seeing the Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, you're seeing the Bears kind of win games, but it's just like you're not real sure. So I looked it up because we were talking about how close they are. 8-3. They have given up 3 more points this season than they have scored.
that's wild.
That is crazy.
Yeah, 'cause
8-3.
I thought it was crazy that the Niners were 8-4 and are only plus 20.
Right.
So
The Bears are negative in the point category with a plus 5 as far as being up over 500. It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
yeah, and I can't imagine that you would see that often.
Mhm.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, but I mean, everything's so close, like you just said. They're
Yep.
always like right there at the end, and they've just been able to pull it out.
Mhm.
Each time, unlike last year where like the Commanders went in there and beat them with a bomb at the end.
Right.
Yeah. I guess all you have to do is rip the one corner's ass, and then you're getting close games now. That's seems to be all they did really to turn that around too. It's just,
Mhm.
hey, Tyreek, stop being a dumbass. And now they're good. Now they're,
Right.
Now they're winning
doing
football
it,
games.
So
Okay, and then I think I know I was the only one to pick the Cowboys to beat the Eagles, and they ended up scoring 25 or 24 unanswered to win that game.
Mhm.
I honestly, it was kind of one of those. I just only picked it just because of division stuff, and yeah, they ended up pulling that one out of there. So they're what 5-5-1? Is that what their record is?
Believe so.
And
Yep, 5-5-1. Yep.
so I mean, I think Philly's got 3 games on them,
Mhm.
and so do you see them being able to win that division at all? Still,
No, I think it's just going to be too much tough sledding. I did want to kind of talk about the Cowboys defense. I thought, most of the season we were talking about how like they were the Cincinnati Bengals of the NFC and their
Mhm.
defense. I've been pleasantly surprised how well their defense has kind of taken off ever since they traded for Quinnen Williams, and Logan Wilson plays a big part, but another big part is they've got that Overshown linebacker back. He was out for all of the beginning of the season from a torn ACL, MCL, and PCL. So he's came back, and I think he's kind of given him a spark at that linebacker level too.
was
but
he one of their top picks from last year,
I
or
don't.
is it a couple
I
years
think he's
ago?
a 2 or 3 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
But he was coming off a major knee surgery, so they've been kind of sprinkling him back in the last probably 3 weeks. So having Quinnen Williams in the middle, having 2 competent linebackers back there, and then they've just kind of taken off. Which I wanted to talk about their defense a little bit. So the first 3 drives, kind of spoiler, but Dallas defense was my defensive player of the week. So since we're already talking about them, the first 3 drives, Philadelphia had 25 plays, 192 yards, and 21 points. The next 7 drives that Philadelphia had, they had 33 plays, 106 yards, and 0 points. So whatever adjustment that they made,
Worked out.
yeah. So if you don't have Logan Wilson, Overshown, and Quinnen Williams, I think probably Philadelphia probably hangs like 40 some points on them.
Yeah.
But when you can rely on like a All Pro Bowl, defensive tackle that kind of plug up the middle, Saquon still isn't able to kind of take off in games. He had that one game where he exploded, but when you can kind of shut that down and shut down whatever AJ Brown had going on in the first quarter,
Yeah.
it kind of seemed like Jalen Hurts was kind of bottled up after that.
Yep.
So that's why I wanted to talk about Dallas's defense.
Yeah,
they put the clamps on. They gave their offense a chance.
That's a good one because I was watching that going, well, I messed that
Mhm.
pick up.
Yep.
And then they just, every time they go back to it in red zone, it was like, okay, Dallas is in it. They scored. Oh, Dallas is still coming around. They scored again. Holding them. So, I mean, that is cool to see that they stuffed them for 7 straight drives. Like
Yeah,
that.
I think what probably happened is Gordon came to the sideline, and people got in his face that he finally woke up. And I mean, that's when a D tackle of his caliber can do that. Like
Mhm.
he could personally just stuff the run game, which is what he did. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like every time they ran the ball, he was either chasing down Saquon or in Saquon's face right away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. So, just one question. This is the second game we've seen with Jonathan Taylor not doing well, but of course, this one's against like a really good defensive mind. You think like this one was the one that laid the foundation for team stopping Jonathan Taylor now?
I think it's been 2 games in a row, right? You said?
Mm.
I honestly was going to say something about that too. I kind of feel like it does kind of feel like the culture's starting to come back down to earth now, and teams are starting to play them pretty tough. And once they actually are just able to keep them one sided with Daniel Jones, he's not able to get it done like he did earlier on. So, yeah, I think they're going to start playing them tougher, and I don't really see the Colts doing that great from here on out. I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs, but I honestly think that is going to be really, you're going to see a totally kind of what we more expected out of the Colts from the beginning. From here
Yeah.
on out.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like what worked for them all year was Jonathan Taylor's elite level play outside the tackles, inside the tackles, swing routes, any RPO you want to do, any running back motion you want to do to give them the ball. You could use any of that to do it. And it seems like they're just putting 1 or 2 guys assigned wherever Jonathan's at, you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's not playing.
Yeah, and Daniel Jones
now they
isn't
suck.
making them pay for it.
Yeah.
It's like that honeymoon phase is over for
Mhm.
him in this offense.
Well, and I know a lot of people are hyped, and I don't know if I ever really talked about it here, but I still like all year. I've been having the bad feelings about Daniel, anyways. It's whenever you have that much success around the ball, your quarterback's going to succeed.
Mhm.
It's always how it works because you have to. The other teams throw 7 or 8 in the box.
Yep.
If you're a quarterback and you can't take advantage when they're 7, 8 in the box, you shouldn't be in the NFL.
Right.
Shouldn't have made it to college if you can't take advantage of that. Like,
Yeah, if you got like four receivers out there and 3 defenders,
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah,
I think the big part that I took from this game, you only look and see that Jonathan Taylor only had 16 carries when they had the lead all game, except for when Kansas City tied it up at the last second and then won it in overtime. But you look at team stats, and I knew it was pretty lopsided, but Kansas City ran 91 plays on offense. Indianapolis ran 50. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
a 41 play difference
Yeah,
on
that's
offensive
crazy.
plays. So it kind of puts it in perspective. Like their offense wasn't on the field that much for 50 plays. That's for especially when you have the lead too.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like when your backfield looks like Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
if you have 50 plays, Jonathan Taylor probably should have had 30 of them.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. And then you look at the time of possession. I mean, it correlates with the 91 plays. Kansas City had the ball for 42 minutes, and then Indianapolis only had it for 25. So, what really I think swung, in Kansas City's favor was they punted the ball. I was trying to find it with like 4 minutes left, and Indianapolis got the ball right around midfield. They went pass incomplete, and then they threw a 7-yard pass. They had a chance to go for it on 4th and 3 on like the 43-yard line of Kansas City, but they
Mhm.
decided to take a delay of game and then punt it away.
And
And it was just
punt.
like, man, if you are really confident in your offense, who's up to this point, I mean, all statistics kind of show you like you have the number one offense as far as you have the one of the best running backs in the league. Like, why not go for it? If you want to prove that you want to play with
Yep.
the big boys, go for it. Don't
Get there. Yeah.
don't punt this away, because you punted it away and Kansas City went down and kicked a field goal.
And it's
It's-
Kansas
yeah.
City. They are notorious for that.
Right.
You got to be aggressive
Yep.
playing them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that whole game was just more of a Shane Steichen versus Andy Reid, and you actually just on the field your players have to play better than the Chiefs players to have a chance. You can't let it be a coaching battle because Andy Reid's the best.
Yep.
And he will beat anyone in the league, and you just have to outperform him.
Yep.
Your players actually just have to step up and be the difference in the game.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I agree. So just one more note I wanted to get before we got into our other segues. Titans almost not sucked again. Almost
Yep.
not sucked. No, it's crazy though. They did end up making a game of that where it was 26-20 against the Seahawks. But it's like, I mean, that's probably where they're at, man. They're like right on, they're teetering, but it's just going to be bad. It is crazy that, one score games, they could probably have 5 wins, be more, close to that, but not,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
If
What would that
they
make 'em
get a
out
wide
like?
receiver that can catch a ball, which I don't, you're going to have a really, really good wide receiver that works with Cam Ward a lot, to be able to catch the heat he puts on those balls. Like, it's just, no one's used to it because it is like a one-of-one, the amount of velocity on his pull passes. Like,
Yeah.
Josh can throw deep, but his do not come at 110 like Cam Ward's do. So,
Yeah. Well, another thing too, another thing I got from that game against the Seahawks is it seemed like early on, if the Seahawks were playing a team like the Titans, a team that's not so good, or they just get the upper hand on, they would just beat the brakes off of them the whole game. They were, I can't even remember what their, it's over 100
point
points.
differential.
Point
yeah.
differential is over 100 points. I think it's like 120 or 130, so it's huge. But now it seems like they're starting to struggle late in games and letting teams back in it. And I don't know if they've just changed the way
Almost
they're
like we've
playing
seen that
or
out of somebody last
yeah.
year.
And is it just like, again, is Sam Darnold starting to get into that, getting, I don't know what it is. Does he get too comfortable? Do teams figure him out? What's going on? But, it seems like he comes out and he starts kicking ass and then his, things just stop. It's just like sudden stop. Teams start getting back in it and he's not able to get going again. I don't know what it is, but yeah, something about it. Maybe I still like the Seahawks, not like them, but like as far as what they're doing,
Mhm.
I think that they're going to still be successful. But it's starting to kind of be like, all right, well maybe they're not as good because they let the Titans right back into it. There was another game they had where they let somebody else right back into it. I think it was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but whatever. It just I mean, they're letting teams hang around a lot more now than they were at the beginning. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think the recipe might be out for kind of how to keep it close with Seattle. It's just they can't run the ball. We've talked all season about how Seattle has a kind of a terrible running game, and then I can't remember the exact number that I saw, but Jackson Smith and Jigba is getting like 56% of like the targets that Sam Darnold throws, and it shows. Like there were 16 receptions, he had 8 of them. Then you have Kenneth Walker, who was your second leading receiver. He's a running back. Then you got Cooper Kupp with 2, AJ Barner with 2, and so it's just like I understand Jackson Smith and Jigba is good, but if you can finally get like a defense that has like a probably a true number 1 corner or a safety or something like that could probably take him away, I think you start to see Sam Darnold struggle. And I don't know what it is about the Rams. I don't know if you guys talked about it last week, but the last 2 seasons, the Rams, doesn't matter what team Sam Darnold plays on. Like, I don't know if he's seeing ghosts again when he plays the Rams, but
Yeah.
holy cow, like it's bad when he plays the Rams. So
right.
there's got to be like that element of, Sam Darnold showed you last week, like he still has that in him to go out and throw 4 interceptions against somebody. So, and like I said, the rushing attack is
Not
almost
good.
non-existent for
Mhm.
Seattle. So I think teams can trot out like nickel pretty much against them and like, all right, go ahead and try running. We know you can't, but we're
Right.
going to put an extra defender
Yeah.
in the backfield.
Your rookie right guard you spent a first round pick on doesn't help you in the run game at all. So we're just going to come out nickel.
Gray's able.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, PFF grade has him. I was just looking at it because I see people talk about how he's a good pick, or he's like 83rd out of 92 guards right now in PFF grade.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a bust from hell,
I
at least
thought
so far.
I thought he looked pretty good too, but maybe you're exactly right about that dude. Or like especially early on, huh?
Yeah, like he's still got a chance, but yeah, it's pretty funny to look at.
Yeah, so going into that, just making a nice little segue here. My offensive player of the week is JSN. I mean, 8 receptions, 2 touchdowns, 165 yards. And it did seem like it makes sense now that you read off those numbers. It did seem like that's all they had.
Mhm.
There was just him. And I think they got up to 20 points. I can't remember what it was, but then it seemed like it kind of stalled out. Maybe that's why they took him away a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, still great, dude. I mean, I saw a stat where he's now the Seahawks' leading receiver for a season.
Mhm.
He has like 1,350 yards or something like that,
Yeah.
and that's the most ever in the Seahawks as a Seahawks receiver, and that was only 11 games. That's pretty impressive.
It is, yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's my guy. You have him on your fantasy. Watching him score all those points, I was like, this guy's doing pretty good, and then it just kept adding up. So that's who I got. I went with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, I like it. Unfortunately, he plays for, Seattle. The Niners are competing with
Yeah.
for a playoff spot or a division title right now, so it kind of sucks to see him be successful. But
Heck yeah,
as long as he's successful against other teams and not the 49ers.
yeah. They'll start to shut him down.
Yep. My offensive player of the week, it was Jahmyr Gibbs. It was funny watching this game. It was always kind of like, first quarter, it was like, all right, Detroit's up or New England's up, or I'm sorry, New York Giants are up. Detroit's going to probably come back and blow them out. And every time I turned over to that game, it was like, Giants still have a lead. Giants still have a lead. It was like, what's going on here? And then I think you kind of get that sometimes with Jameis Winston where he has some of these games. And I think that receiving touchdown that Jameis Winston had was probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was
Right.
like so slow motion.
Yeah.
Like it was the longest developing play. And then even him breaking a tackle and going, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing lasted 40 seconds. But
yeah.
I think they needed every ounce of what Jahmyr Gibbs did. He had 15 rushes for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and go along with 11 receptions for 45 yards and a touchdown. So 26 touches for over 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. They needed every ounce of those yards or every foot of those yards that he ended up getting, and every touchdown too, because they had to squeak out a victory in overtime to beat the New York
Beat
Giants.
the Giants.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I like that one. That's good.
yeah, I like that too, and I was going to do the same thing, but something else to talk about. Just since you brought that up, is there a new man to put in the quarterback battle in New York? Because that pass from Gunnar, however the hell you say his name, Oshesky, whatever the hell,
Oh yeah.
that was a pretty good pass.
It was a pretty good
That
pass.
was like, if he could do that consistently, maybe he should be QB1.
Yep.
Right.
It was a pretty good pass.
He definitely should be getting reps over Russell Wilson, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, I was going to do the same offensive player, but defense players I have 2, and they both played in the same game against each other. And it's J.C. Horn and Jair Brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a game that finished 20-9, and there was really good defense. Both of those guys had 2 interceptions. And I was trying to decide between which one I wanted to do, but I mean, they both had 2 picks.
Mhm.
They're both, they both just read well. They both were making plays. J.C. Horn got a second pick off of a concussion, most likely.
Yeah.
Like he went out to the sidelines and was throwing up, came back in, picked the ball off, and then they, like, okay, yeah, we should probably pull you, man. You've been
Yeah.
throwing up and stuff. You should probably be concussion protocol now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Actually, I went with Brown on mine. Did the same thing. I was like, wow, it's a Monday night game. It was huge. I went with Brown just because the Niners ended up winning, honestly, because it was just they were huge. If he didn't make that pick right after they threw his second one, I think they had a short field, and then I think they scored on the one. But anyway, Brown his 2 picks were huge, 5 tackles, just needed, and they eked out a win. I know it was 20-9, so it looks kind of like a big win, but it didn't feel like that big, like a big, like lopsided win.
Mhm.
I felt like the game at any point could turn, and those interceptions were huge. So
Yep. Yeah, I already mentioned my defensive player of the week was the Dallas defense, giving up 192 yards on the first 2 drives, 21 points, and then
This guy's cheap.
only
He's a cheater.
only 106 yards after the next 7 drives. So, and they needed every single stop that they had because they had to kick was it a last second field goal to win?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they needed every stop after giving up 21 points. So
Well,
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, I don't hate it, but you should have just done Quentin Williams because
I should
I
have,
think
yeah.
you could equate all those 7 stops to Quentin Williams
Yep.
being in Saquon's face every time he took the hand off.
I could have, yeah.
So
I like it though, yeah, because I mean team defense. Okay, so my overreaction, I'll go into that one, and I didn't even talk about this game at all during our recap. Freaking is Shadur Sanders overreaction to Shadur Sanders. I mean, this is insane the way this guy was talking after this totally mediocre, mid-ass game that he played. And you would have thought he won the Super Bowl and threw for 304 touchdowns or something, man. And it's like, dude, you do realize you had like 2 good passes the whole time.
Mhm.
And your defense just dominated. I think they had 10 sacks.
Yeah.
10 sacks.
Yep.
And they played the Raiders. So they'd sacked Gino and their backup. I think they had to bring in a backup at one point, like 10 times. And I think he had 11 completions.
Mhm.
So you got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. And he's talking, oh, yeah, that's after 1 week of practice. And yeah, imagine that after a whole offseason. It's dangerous. It's like, no, dude, you were terrible. You had like 2 good passes. And then the one that went for a touchdown was 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And the dude just got an open field and took off. Like, dude, he had one real impressive throw that I liked. I thought it, was over the shoulder, real good toss. And then even the one where he threw to Jerry Jeudy, which was could have been a long gainer, but Jeudy fumbled. Jeudy was wide open. He
Mhm.
didn't have to do anything special on that. It was just, if he threw it within 5 yards of him, there was nobody around.
Right.
So just unimpressive, and it drives me nuts. This guy drives me nuts. His freaking Deion Sanders drives me nuts. It's crazy, and he is so like just on himself right now. Just disgusts me. So that's mine. I had to get on that soapbox. Yeah, that's my overreaction.
cool. I was gonna go the same way about it. It's just what is he doing, man? Like he tried pulling this shit already, and that's why he fell from a projected top 10 pick to a 5th round pick.
Mhm.
Like that attitude is why you fell and you're making about 10 million less a year than you should be, and why you weren't a guaranteed starter, because if you won the first round, it would have been day 1 starter.
Yep.
And that attitude right there.
Yep.
He plays like shit, still acts like he's the king.
Yeah, there was no we us add anything that he said there.
Mhm.
It's like that was definitely a we thing.
Yeah, he thinks it's anything his team does right is a sole performance, and it's just him doing it. Yeah, he thinks he's just Jesus out there. Thinks he just walked on water again, but he had 11 for 22, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Like you didn't walk on water, buddy. Chill out a little bit.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you were playing against the Raiders, who,
Yep.
like you said, maybe his first thing he probably should have said in his post game press conference was, like, I'm lucky that I play with the best defensive player on planet Earth,
Yep.
because he gave me a lot of opportunities to be successful today.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
My overreaction, I already talked about it, was the Patriots record. I was just going to talk about how good we feel about them being 10-2, and I just kind of already did a deep dive on the teams that they played, and we already brought up the conversation about, like, what do we think they can do in the playoffs, but so
Yeah,
we
I
don't
always-
have to hammer that.
I always see that meme on Facebook when it shows Homer when he's got all his fat pinned
Oh,
back
yeah.
behind him. And then now the one I see all the time on that one is the Patriots.
Mhm.
The Patriots 10-2 up front, but behind them it's all their sorry ass opponents. I mean, you can't choose who you play, but it is, it
Right.
does help you go 10-2. That's
Yep.
for sure.
Where their 2 losses? trying to think of that right now.
It was the Las Vegas very first game, and then they lost to the Steelers in week 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I forgot that they lost to the bum ass Raiders.
Yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
But I mean, they were,
But at the time, we didn't know the Raiders were going to be
Yeah.
bum ass.
and at the time, the Patriots were bum ass.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they started
They-
the season off 1-2.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
on a 9-game win streak now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's wild. Okay. My underreaction is the 49ers defense. We talked about it a little bit with Jair Brown. I haven't heard enough people giving him credit this week or these last, I guess, today. It's really not that long. But, I mean, dude, the fact that this defense playing all these backups, all these young players, They hold a team to 9 points. I don't care what team it is, even Panthers or whatever, but I guarantee the Panthers are averaging more than 9. In fact, I think they're up to around 20. They held them 9 points, held them to 161 passing yards. They actually had 169, but the Niners actually got a sack for -8 yards. So that was pretty cool. 161 passing yards, 69 rushes, 1 sack, and 2 picks. I mean, that's pretty awesome. That's really, really
Mhm.
good to do with a lot of backups in there. And if they do start hitting stride with these guys a little bit, I mean, that would be nice. So we'll see.
Cool. So to bounce off of that real quick, my underreaction is the Panthers offense. Nobody's talking about the ball they dropped here. I mean, you had 3 picks in the first half and 3 points in the first
Yep.
half. What the hell are you guys doing? Like, I've been a huge fan of them so far. I think Bryce has looked good this year. I think as an offense, they've outperformed what they should have this year. But they just totally shit the bed in this one. And I couldn't see anything that Solo was doing entirely different than other NFL teams where it's like, oh, this is what he figured out to stop them. They just beat themselves. Like, they let this young, injured Niners team come in and beat the hell out of them.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
And so I'm thinking maybe it's about time the Panthers fall off again. I mean, with their offensive performance like that. Hello, hello.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, with a performance like that, I thinking maybe a 8-win total.
yeah, that was bad. But I also trying to give credit to the Niners, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
there
think
was some drops out there, though.
the disappointing thing with Carolina is these last 3 weeks. So you go and beat, or 4 weeks, sorry. You go and beat Green Bay, then you go and lose to New Orleans, then you go and beat Atlanta, which talked about how good Bryce Young looked. He threw for like 435 yards and stuff like that. And then you go up against San Francisco. But what I'm trying to get at is like Tampa Bay's reeling right now. Like I think they're on like a 3-game losing streak. Carolina, if you don't lose to New Orleans and you don't lose to San Francisco, you're in the driver's seat by like 2 games in
Yep.
that division. So it's not like they're not playing for anything. It's just like you guys you have a great opportunity to take over the division and finally win you the division and take control over it. And it's just like they keep on losing too to these probably teams that they should be competing
Yep.
against. One thing that I was impressed with was how well Ronaldo Green did against Tedero or McMillan. It looked like McMillan was always lining up on the left side. Lenore always lines up on the defensive left side, so McMillan wasn't lining up against him too much. And Ronaldo Green held his own. I mean, he got burned on that touchdown pass,
Yeah.
which I don't know if he was supposed to have safety help or not because they were playing a single high safety. It kind of looked like he got burned on the pump fake by Bryce Young. But other than that, all those quick slants and inbreakers that Tedororo was trying to run, Ronaldo Green was on top of him every single play. So kudos to him because I think he was kind of struggling a little bit. But when you have 2 lockdown corners that can do that in a game, your defense can play pretty well.
Yep.
And I totally forgot that Cleveland Farrell was on that team until he got a sack. I was like, who the heck is that? I was
Who
like,
is that?
oh yeah, he's back on this team.
Yeah, that guy.
We're at that
Yeah.
point with the Niners being so hurt on the defensive line. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's back on the team.
So what's funny, and we talked about it last week, is even if you say the Bengals didn't play a game this week, the Niners still, even if they did with that sack that they had, they're still have the least amount of sacks.
Oh really?
Going into there, it was the Bengals had 14, the Niners had 12.
Yeah.
And we got 1 sack. So, and I
Heck
say
yeah.
the Niners got 1 sack. So it's now 13 sacks on the season.
And Myles Garrett has 18 by himself.
Yep.
yeah, Miles. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I'm really glad you brought that up because last week going into this one, I mentioned how physical our corners were against a physical player who's played real well with Ted Arroyo.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned that matchup, and yeah, I mean, Ronaldo Green came out, and there was one pass breakup he had that was super good pass breakup, but I thought he might hyperextend his elbow or something because he reached under him and then got landed on.
Right. Yeah.
I got it, and yeah, I'm just really glad you brought that up because that was something I mentioned last week was physical matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing before we go into our picks and everything we wanted to do, because it is Thanksgiving week, we're going to kind of go into a little bit of the history, which I was just looking up a couple of things on this, and it went back into the like actual Thanksgiving NFL stuff goes back to 1920. actually. So it's like since its inception, it says the NFL has played games on Thanksgiving. So they really did this just like traditionally they obviously most people have that day off. It has been either hosted by the Lions since 1934, and then one game hosted by Dallas, and that started in 1966. So since 1966, it's been the Lions hosting a team and the Cowboys hosting a team. But the one thing I thought was really cool is before the NFL, and I'll go with this just real quick. They started playing American football games on Thanksgiving dates back to 1876.
Oh wow.
So it had been shortly after they'd been invented. It was like Yale and Princeton began an annual tradition of playing each other on Thanksgiving.
Those
Uh,
nerds, man, they do something good once every century. They do something real good for us.
Right. Heck yeah. Yeah. And then Michigan made it a tradition to play on Thanksgiving. They held, like it says, 19 games from 1885 to 1905. So I had no idea that it went back that far. Like even college football, I didn't know they even played that deep. I knew it was the turn of the century, but I didn't know it went back to like 1876. So that's really cool. It says Thanksgiving Day games between like Michigan and the Chicago Maroons in the 1890s have been cited as the beginning of Thanksgiving Day football. So I just kind of wanted to take it back a little bit. So it's been going on since almost like just close to the Civil War, almost.
Mhm.
I guess 10 years after that.
Yeah, and
So
I was gonna look up the reason for it too, but something I found it was kind of like I'm not sure if it was just that many people in a way, but they stopped for in World War II. They stopped the line stopped hosting Thanksgiving games between 39 and 44 for World War II. And did they stop the NFL then? Is that like why they weren't doing it? I
Yeah,
don't know enough
I
about
think I
that.
remember when we did the team breakdowns, there was always that
yeah.
gap. They didn't have any NFL during World War II and 1940, one of those years. So whatever teams were playing back then didn't have a season.
Okay, so the NFL did not stop during World War II, but some teams had to merge,
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
and yeah, it shortened their schedules, and then they played against military teams.
Was it all the draft dodgers that were playing on those teams?
Probably, yeah. I don't know. I thought they were in baseball, and I thought that's how you got LA.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, for the LA Dodgers.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
No, yeah.
So the Dallas
What the actual
Cowboys
thing happened,
have
but
played 57 games on Thanksgiving, and they are actually 34 and 22 and 1. So they have a
Wow.
60% win
Leave
percentage
to the
on.
Cowboys to get that one extra at the end of that.
Yep. Another team that's played a bunch, obviously, is the Lions, and they don't have as good as a record. They are 38, 45, and 2, and then it's a 45% winning. So I remember watching them forever. It seemed like
Mhm.
I think they went. I could be wrong, but I think it was like 9 straight years losing on Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
if I remember right. But yeah, so yeah, they not as good. But it does say that at one point they were the Portsmouth Spartans in 1930 to 1933 during that
Yeah.
time. But so yeah, just going back. I mean, there's one other notable team was the Panthers. I think have only played one game on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, because they've only been
And
around for 25 years or whatever at this
yeah,
point now.
but they
So,
did win it, so they have
Ooh.
they're batting 1,000 on Thanksgiving. So
hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess when the like Thanksgiving top performers, I mean, of course, because they hosted it every year, I think you'd have to be looking at Dion for sure is one of the best players playing on Thanksgiving.
when he
And
was with the Cowboys for a
yeah,
few years.
and I haven't looked at the stats, but I would assume Barry Sanders would be your best offensive player in Thanksgiving history.
Yeah, I was gonna say Barry Sanders or probably Megatron, probably
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
somewhere
could be
Kelvin Johnson.
Megatron.
Did you guys see Joe Burrow's quote? Because I think some reporter was asking him something about the Thanksgiving games, and he said, he remembers growing up watching Matthew Stafford and Megatron go out there and throw for 400 yards. Megatron would have all these receiving yards, and they would lose.
yeah,
So yeah, you're not wrong.
that's funny.
I think from things that I remember about Thanksgiving, well, obviously the Detroit Lions hardly ever winning any games, but growing up, it always seemed like the Dallas Cowboys always, since they were a staple playing on Thanksgiving, always kind of gave them a cupcake game, kind of something like one of the worst teams. We're going to give you just kind of get you a win. But these last few years, it kind of seems like they've transitioned to like putting really good games on Thanksgiving. I was just looking at the
Mhm.
schedule this week for this slate of games. It's like, man, these are really good football games. And growing up, it always just kind of seemed like, oh, the Detroit Lions are playing. I don't know who they're playing. It's not going to be a good game.
Yep.
Dallas Cowboys are playing somebody. They always play, but it always seemed like they gave them a winnable game. And now it's just kind of like throwing out really good games on Thanksgiving now, which is a lot
Mhm.
better, a lot
Yeah.
better entertainment anyway.
Yeah, yeah. You got Packers Lions, which we seen the Packers play. It seemed like a little bit, but Packers were always so much better than the Lions, so it was always kind of a, you know, junk game.
Yeah, and I don't remember if you said it or not, so I'm gonna say it again just in case. They didn't have the third game that we have today until 2006.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a new thing. Apparently it was just NFL broadcast, so you didn't have to
Mhm.
have all these different things now. But now, of course, Thanksgiving Day you have to be able to watch it on 3 different channels.
Right.
Yeah,
You have
Prime.
to have, you have to have CBS, Fox, and NBC. And that's who's carried it since 2011 or since
Mhm.
2012.
Yeah, but at least those you can get on one package usually. At least it's not like Prime, and then you got to have Netflix,
Right.
or
Yeah.
like they're just getting into all this stuff. So,
Yep.
but I think well, looking back, I remember the turkey. I've always remembered like John Madden,
Mhm.
sorry, and the turkey leg thing, all that. I think he started doing that,
Yeah.
and they started doing the turducken. That was the first time I ever heard of that
Right.
on
I
there.
do. Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I like watching football on Thanksgiving. I try to sit down as long as I'm off work or whatever. I try to sit down and watch most football and hang out. So
Yeah, and then something super fresh. Actually, it was recently renamed to the John Madden Thanksgiving celebration.
mhm.
That's what the games are now. Started after 2022 because he passed in 2021.
Yeah. Did you guys notice? I think it was last year or the year before when the Lions won. So they were eating the turkey stuff, but little David Montgomery was standing there. He might be a vegetarian or something because he was holding the carrot. Everybody else is
Oh,
eating
really?
turkey.
Yeah,
He
he's
just picks
just-
the carrot up off of there. He's like, oh, and eating a carrot. He might be a vegetarian or something. Yeah, I don't know why that just popped in my head, but I remember looking
Well,
at that
that
going,
turducken was bigger than him, so
Yeah.
That's funny.
yeah,
I think he was scared of it or something. 'Cause-
yeah. He just didn't know what to do with it, man. Yeah, he might be a vegetarian because
Yeah.
I would have dug right in. So
Yeah, it's
But-
kind of crazy how many of those NFL players or professional athletes in general don't eat meat and stuff. It's like, how?
Mhm.
How are you 220
Right.
pounds of pure muscle and don't
Yep.
eat meat?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, well, let's go on to our picks. But yeah, anyways, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and then we're going to get into these picks for the Thanksgiving games. First of all, we'll go into last week's. Last week we had a 3-way tie between me, Kel, and Aaron. We all had 3 losses, and it ended up being Aaron who got us on the tie break. So, but we only had 8 listeners, so I think we're just should we move that ahead again? We didn't have enough listeners to give 25. Should we move it ahead a week till we get 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just gonna move that ahead 10, and yeah, try to get everybody in on it, man, so we can give away some money. But yeah, Aaron got me and Kel on the tie break, so I ended up going 11-3 last week. Gage, you went 8-6, and
God
Jared, you
damn
went
Titans,
10-4. Well,
Goddamn
I gave you
Titans.
shit when you picked them last week. You got to give up on them, man.
No, never.
But yeah, so that puts Jared in the lead, 124, 55, and 1. I did gain a game on you this time though, so I'm at 117, 62, and 1. So that still puts me 7 games behind. And then you got Gage. You've pulled further behind, 98, 82, and 1. So you're quite a ways behind. You're 19 games behind me, and 26. Does that make sense?
Not to cut you off,
Yeah,
but I
26.
think I only lost 3 games as well.
Oh, did you? I
think
thought I
so.
counted 4.
I missed the Buffalo game.
Yes, sir.
I missed the Indianapolis game.
Yes, sir.
I missed the Philadelphia game,
Yes, sir.
and that's all I see.
I have you as going with the Raiders.
I should have had the Cleveland winning 14-13. Pretty sure. Let's go back to the text I sent you
Yes.
guys.
You did have Cleveland winning 14-13.
You sneaky little snake.
Really?
that's
I'm better.
Oh, okay.
dude.
You did.
I've
All
been
right.
saying like
Fair enough.
I'm not actually that bad. He just
No,
doesn't
you
know how to
He
suck.
keep.
doesn't
You
know how to
suck
add.
still.
I've been
He
saying that
doesn't know how
since
to add
been saying
stuff
that
up.
since day one. He just doesn't know math.
We just got to keep Brendan in check here. Holy cow!
Well, there's a reason
Jeez.
he's going for like creative writing and stuff for his secondary classes because he
Ooh,
just
yeah.
I like to make shit up on the fly, I guess. No, yeah. That one was just total mess up. But no, I don't know why I had you down as the Raiders there. Okay, fair enough. So we had a 4-way tie.
okay. And one shout out real quick, just because I was reminded going through our text, reminded of it. Luke Talich had a special teams touchdown.
Yep.
It's a Wyoming boy playing real well in a high
Notre Dame,
stage,
yeah.
national TV. Played real well, so
Mhm.
got to give that shout out.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. I mean, well, I was watching watching the Wyoming game because I think the kickoff started like an hour and a half before the Notre Dame game, but it just correlated to every time I turned the TV on to watch Notre Dame play, it was on a commercial break, and I was like, "What the heck's going on?" So I looked on my phone. I was like, "Oh, they scored a touchdown." Then I turned over back to the Wyoming game because they were playing. Then I'd switch back over to the Notre game. It's a commercial break. I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" And they freaking scored 21 points without even touching the football on
Yeah, with
offense.
0 offensive
Oh, yeah.
snaps.
So I didn't really get to watch the Notre Dame game because then the Wyoming game got a little too compelling, and then
Yeah.
ended up losing. I wish I didn't have to watch that, but
Yeah, that was-
I wish
yeah.
it didn't either, but
That's definitely bad for the eyes watching their offense
Yep.
out there.
I
Terrible.
made the comment I think in the group text message that Luke Talich scored as many points as Wyoming Cowboys did, and he doesn't
But
even play offense.
that's where you're wrong because he didn't go out there and kick the PAT. He
That's
only had
true.
6. The Cowboys
That
had
is
7.
true.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! See,
That is true.
see, I'm not the only one who messes up around here.
Yeah. You guys just really like to be one off, don't you?
All right, well, let's go into these games so we can do our picks here.
Give me just a second. My laptop decided to die, so I don't have the schedule put up.
Okay, while you're pulling that up, I'll call the first one. It's going to be on Thanksgiving, first day, or first game of the day. It's going to be at 11, and it's the Packers at the Lions.
Cool. I mean, this one's kind of hard to choose. I'm gonna take the Lions for Thanksgiving tradition. Although it sounds like their tradition is losing on Thanksgiving, we're gonna take the locked-in Thanksgiving team to take it this time.
Okay.
I couldn't get the first week. I know it's we don't try not to take too much away from the first week, but I think one thing we can learn from that week 1 loss that the Lions had against the Packers was I think teams that can stop the Lions from running the ball seem like they can kind of control the game. But the Packers have, last time I looked, they had the best rushing defense in the league. So I think that's going to continue. The Packers offense still kind of gives me a little bit of pause. So I think it's going to be a little bit closer than it was week 1. I got the Packers winning 26-24.
Okay. They have Detroit as a 2.5-point favorite. I'm guessing that is because they're home on Thanksgiving, but this one was really tough for me. I feel like the Lions should be winning a game like this, but I think it'll be a lot closer than the first game, but I'm still going to go Packers 27-24. Neither team has really been impressing me last few weeks, like I said earlier, but I don't know, man. Lions, I think their defense is kind of not looking good. Giants put it on them last week. I think the Lions should win this one, but I'm going to go Packers.
Fair enough. And I didn't put my
27-24.
score prediction, so I'll say that real quick. 35-14 Lions.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I got the big win because I said it last week, and the Vikings sucked and didn't get any pressure. But the Vikings also don't have Hayden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
You get pressure on Love, he shits the bed. They're going to do nothing this time around. I think enough coaches are finally seeing that all you have to do is pressure him. So maybe they'll be bringing 6 instead of the 4 to drop back and covered.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I guess I always forget that Dan Campbell's can go for it on every 4th down and not take his
Yep.
points. So
And that's why I have the Packers winning by a field goal.
yeah, that does change a lot. Okay, next game is going to be at 2:30 on Thanksgiving, and it's Chiefs Cowboys. I feel like I almost want to go the Cowboys again because tradition, and I mean the Cowboys look better, but I just think Andy Reid, he's a heavy guy, so he really wants that turducken. So I think for that reason I'm going to take the Chiefs. I'm going to take them 21-17.
This one was a little bit tough for me because I liked how the Cowboys kind of finished against the Eagles. I think that was a big win for them to kind of take down the NFC leading or one of the NFC leading teams in the conference. Cowboys kind of proved that they can kind of play with everybody. I like how their defense is playing. Whenever Chiefs kind of seem like they're kind of in close games almost every single week. But I have the Cowboys hopefully ending the Chiefs' playoff hopes, winning 24-23.
You went Cowboys, huh? Okay. You went Cowboys on
Mhm.
that one. Okay. As long as
Yep.
I put the right one down. Just being a smart ass. All right, they have Kansas City as a 3-point favorite. This one was tough for me as well. I finally ended up going with the Chiefs.
Is
I
it
just
also because Andy Reid
no,
really likes
no,
his turkey, so
no.
he's
It's
gonna
not.
coach his ass off?
Not because Santa Claus with a mustache wants some turkey. No, I actually I went with the Chiefs just because I do feel like it's Spags. I feel like if somebody's gonna be able to shut down that offense of the Cowboys and shut down George Pickens, I feel like it could be him. But I had a tough time with this one as well. But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs 28-20.
Uh, the night game, which I think coming into this was scheduled to be a heater of a game, and is not looking like a very impressive game anymore. It's the Bengals Ravens. Um, Joe Burrow was around. Now that Lamar's healthy, it would be a hell of a game. Football teams kind of suck this year. Ravens are getting it back together, and for what they've looked like the last 4 weeks, I think I got to take the Ravens in it. Um, I'm gonna go with 35-34. Yeah, 35-34 Ravens.
Okay.
The 2 weeks ago with the Ravens, they're on a 5-game winning streak. They've officially taken the lead in the AFC North, so they're winning that division right now. But their offense, I don't know if Lamar is just not fully healthy or what's going on with that offense, but they struggled 2 weeks ago against Cleveland. They kind of had to fight their way back to win that one. And then last week against the New York Jets, it just feels like they could not get any rhythm going again on offense again, even with, you have Zay Flowers and you got your two tight ends that are healthy, and Andrews and Likely, and Derrick Henry seems like he's healthy. So I got to chalk it up as Lamar's just not 100% because their offense just looks out of sync. But they are going against the Bengals defense, which is still the worst in the league. So I got them winning a close game, 24-20.
Okay. They have Baltimore as a 7-point favorite, which kind of I mean they have it out there that Joe Burrow might play, and they're
Mm-hmm.
saying that if he's healthy, he's playing. So we'll see. They've been talking about it. I don't know if he's going to be back or not, but either way, I don't think that this is the way the Ravens defense has been playing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this would be the game that he'd come in and just tear it up and win anyway. I know it is crazy, like you said off the top. I mean, you got one team's 3-8, and the other team's 6-5,
Mm-hmm.
and both teams could still win their division.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's
Right.
so crazy. And this is what I thought was going to be the best division, possibly one of the best division in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Up there within AFC West. But it's so terrible. It's just
and it's like every team is just mid as hell.
Yep.
yes, absolutely. So, but I ended up picking the Ravens. I do think this will probably be the Bengals' last shot at one. So that's why I almost went with them. But I ended up going Ravens. Kind of figure that this should be able to get them right on offense. 31-20.
Cool.
Of
Next
course, the
game.
Bengals did play good on defense last week, though. But
Yeah, next game. This is Friday night primetime game, like Prime Amazon Prime game.
yeah,
Black Friday game.
it's actually like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
1 o'clock.
Is it one?
So 3
Yeah.
p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably what you're seeing. This game coming into the season, you'd be like, oh, this game's gonna suck. Like this ain't a great primetime game, but it's Bears Eagles, man. It's two of the best teams in the NFC right now. So now it's
Yep.
become a hell of a primetime game.
Mhm.
Should be a good one. I'm gonna take the Eagles, and that's just because I expect Caleb to throw for under 215. Is that where Smart's at? That he needs to average.
230.
Yeah,
I
so
think it's
he's
like
gonna
236.
he's gonna throw under whatever he needs to be to
He
be under pace
he
for
was
4,000.
above it a little bit last week, so he might be getting on pace again a little bit.
Yep. That's why this week he's gonna go up. He's gonna throw under
Yeah.
pace, so the Eagles are gonna win.
Uh, This one was a little bit tough for me because the Bears just play, close games as well, and the Eagles, for some reason, just can't like get out of their own way on offense. I don't know why, but I do like the Eagles coming back and playing at home and getting a win, 24-17 against the Bears.
Okay. They have Philly as a 7-point favorite. I thought that was kind of a lot considering that the Bears just keep winning and they're able to do it. But I do have the Eagles winning it as well. I feel like that this team could probably grind them down and get it done, but not by much. I got it 24-20 Eagles, which at the beginning of the season I probably would have predicted that I would probably guess a lot bigger score than that.
35-7,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
But the Eagles just, offense, you're right. They just cannot get it done. So,
Okay, and then to start off our Sunday games, we got the Toilet Bowl. Got a shitter of a game here with the Saints versus Dolphins. Who's excited to watch this one?
Caleb
I don't
Brady.
even. I think Kel's not excited to watch it because I think Dolphins are probably the favorite. So I
Yeah.
think he's pretty upset to see that because
Yep.
he wants the higher draft pick to replace Tua. I'm gonna stay on that trend. Like I said, I think they're the favorite, and I have them as the favorite, and I think they're gonna win it probably 28-17.
I got the Dolphins as well. Saints, I thought Tyler Shuck played well in his first start, and then he kind of came back to reality last week. Saints didn't look good at all on offense against the Falcons. So I got the Dolphins coming off a bye week, kind of get a little bit healthy. I got them winning 23-17.
okay. Yeah, they got Miami by 6 as a 6-point favorite, which I totally get why they're playing a lot better than what the Saints have been looking. I have Dolphins winning it. I see a high score game, 34-23. I just think Achan, he's probably, coming off a bye week, going to be a lot healthier. Not that he was hurt, but man, I bet that rest is going to feel good. He's just going to be able to run all over these Saints. So,
Yep. Okay, next game, 11 o'clock window is Texans Colts. This is the one that's probably gonna take
that
everybody's
was another
attention.
Dolphins sweep, by the way.
Yeah, and
Ooh.
last time there was a Dolphins sweep, we were right.
Yep.
So make sure to put your money on the Dolphins, all of it, everything you have, put it all on the Dolphins. Next game is Texans Colts. Like I said, this is probably going to be the one that gets most of the attention this week for the 11 o'clock window. I think it's going to be a real good game, but I think there's plenty of opportunity for the Colts to blow the door open this one and go out and take it to them. So I'm going to take the Colts in this. I'm going to take it 28-17. But if the Colts decide not to run it up the middle, the same way the Bills decided not to run it up the middle, then it'll probably be Texans win.
This one was tough for me. I always kind of struggle with teams that are fairly competitive that play in the same division. I think the Texans are on a better trajectory than what the Colts are. I think the Texans playing on Thursday night and kind of get those couple extra days rest, and plus, coming off a big victory against the Buffalo Bills. I think that's going to kind of carry them into this game against the Colts. I just like their defense. I think the points are so hard to score against the Texans, so I got them winning 21-20.
Just one thing to mention, since you included the momentum they should have, I feel like whenever you look at teams, like some teams are able to hold that momentum. But you look at a lot of teams, I feel like we're always like, oh, they should have the momentum. Then they just go out and have a shitter of a
Yeah,
game
that's true.
when they should have the momentum. I
Yep.
feel like that's a trend.
They'll probably lose like
Right.
3-7 or something like
Yeah,
that.
I feel like you're more likely to go out and have a shitter of a
Yeah.
game after you just beat a team you should have
That's
lost
true.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have Indy as a 4.5-point favorite, which actually I'm kind of okay with. I know I said earlier that I don't feel like the Colts are going to play as well, but I just still am not real trusting of the Texans offense. And I think the Colts are going to be able to get this one done. I think it's going to be kind of low scoring. I got it 20-13 Colts, but I could see it going the other way as well. But I do feel like this will be the Colts' kind of last big win that you were going to see from them, but we'll see.
I think if the Colts just give it to Jonathan Taylor 30 times and 29 of them are between the tackles, he's going to have one to the outside that he probably breaks for at least 20. But they just give him the ball up the gut, he can have 300 yards.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but he can definitely, if they do run the ball up the middle, they're going to win.
Yeah,
I
and they
agree with
better not put it down Jones' head because I see Zal Shears lurking out there. Don't
Yeah.
let Daniel Jones do anything. Next game is Falcons Jets, and this is another one I'm not excited for, but it's probably going to be won by the Falcons. Saying 21-17.
I got the Falcons as well. I can't really figure out the Jets. They trade away their two best defensive players, and it feels like their defense is actually playing pretty well. So I don't know. I can't figure it out. But I like, I don't know, Kirk Cousins coming in, and I thought he played fairly decent last week for the Falcons against the Saints. But yeah, I guess you're at that point in Kirk Cousins' career, you don't know what you're going to get from him probably.
I feel like that's been his whole career.
Actually, yeah, you are
Yeah.
correct on that. I like the Falcons winning a close game, 26-21.
Okay, I'm pretty similar to what you have. They have Atlanta by 2.5. I like the Falcons 27-20. So I think it's just a point off.
Mhm.
The Jets have, I mean, it's been kind of impressive what they've been able to do. They were one of those teams that we talked about that you're just like, they're just going to fold,
Mhm.
but they really haven't. So, I mean, at times they look better. And with Tyrod Taylor, like he kind of works that offense better. So we'll see, though. I still think the Falcons have enough to get it done, though.
I need Brees Hall to have me a good game so Brandon gets off my back about a trade in fantasy.
Was a terrible trade, man. Brees Hall's done
Terrible.
shit.
Terrible. Okay.
Come on, Brees Hall.
So Falcons sweep on that one.
Yes.
Okay. Next one is Niners Browns. I hate to say this, but well, I don't know. Yeah, I had my prep, or I didn't have prep done, so I'm trying to make my decision right now, and it's a really hard one. Is Brock going to come out and look like first half, or is he going to come out and look decent? I think he's probably going to shit the bed again, especially with Myles Garrett coming at him. He's probably going to sack him 5 times. So I'm actually taking the Browns in this one. We're going to take the Browns, a 14-7 win.
Okay.
I got this one as a low-scoring game as well. I think you saw in the second half, especially after Brock threw that third interception, I think you saw Kyle Shanahan being like, okay, no more passes over the middle for Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys noticed it, it was all like quick outs and, just outbreakers. George Kittle was catching a ton of passes out there. Jennings was catching a ton of passes out there. If he was throwing it in the middle of the field, it was probably to a little choice route to CMC.
Yep.
He kind of put the handcuffs on him. And
Yeah.
I think you're going to kind of see that against this because I don't think you want to take the handcuffs off against the Browns defense. So I think it's going to be a quick passing game. I think you're going to see Shanahan have a little bit better game plan going against Myles Garrett. I think he does a fairly good job. I just get reminded of some of the games against Dallas Cowboys and how they kind of took Parsons out of the game and not make him a factor by getting the ball out quick or, running plays away from Myles Garrett. So it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's at Cleveland. I don't like these 11 o'clock kickoff for the 49ers. It kind of seems like they always shit the bed. But I do like their trajectory to kind of continue winning because Shadir Sanders does play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
So I got them winning 17-14.
Okay. They have the Niners as a 4.5-point favorite. I totally get why they have it pretty close. I think in the end, I feel like this is going to be a run back of the Panthers game. I even have the same score. I got it Niners 20-9 over the Browns, but only just because I feel like the defense, it's going to be enough. We'll have enough chances to be able to get some stuff done. I like our offense against their defense a bit more than the other way around. So
Fair enough. One thing that probably should be mentioned is there's a chance Juwan Jennings is suspended, and
He got hit in the nuts, man.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think they suspended the other guy.
yeah, but I mean, usually they don't like retaliation, but I think especially when it happens after the clock hits 0, I think they're even more pissed about it.
Mm-hmm.
See
And,
now,
I mean, I think it's reasonable. Guy hits you in the nuts, you wait till after the game. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
what I was about
proper
to
way
say.
to do it.
heck
Yeah.
yeah.
Guy hits you in the nuts, it's like, okay, we'll let it play out, and then you go kick his ass after. Like,
Right.
yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But I feel like the NFL doesn't like it that way because now you got camera crew on the field and all
Yeah.
other personnel on the field that could also
Yeah,
get
but I
hurt
bet
from it.
that's probably why he hasn't been suspended yet. They're like, hey, man, he held his shit together
He
long
did-
enough.
he did it. He
know?
waited till
and
after the game.
it was like not
was.
even like accidental, man. It was an uppercut to
Yeah.
his nuts, just
Yeah,
right in
it was just,
right in the sack.
If you guys didn't see it, yeah, it was literally just like a side uppercut, dipped his shoulder into it, right into the nuts, and
It was
Jamal
terrible.
bounced back, and Trent had to catch him. Actually, Trent didn't catch him. Trent pushed him because
Yeah.
he thought he was just wandering back for no reason. So Trent pushed him originally, like, oh, you're hurt. Okay, here, I'll help you now. But and then right after the game ended, Juwan walks up to him and just punches him in the mouth.
Yep.
I think it was open-handed, so
Mhm.
he was smart enough to do that. It was
Yeah.
close. He's definitely out for 6 games.
Yeah.
But the reason I waited till after we made our predictions on that game to bring it up is because it's right in between right in between Niners games and Panthers games. Rams Panthers next.
Okay.
I think they're bound to lose this game because either way, but especially without Morik, I think the Rams are going to have a heyday out there. J.C. Horn might get an interception because he reached the ball like a hawk. So I think that's going to keep it a little low. Okay, I think that's going to keep it a little closer than it should be, but I think it's going to be like 28-14.
28-14 Rams.
Yep.
Unfortunately, this is just my personal opinion, but I think the Rams are playing the best football in the league right now, and it sucks to kind of see, just because the Rams are in the same division as the Niners. So I never want to see the Rams be successful, but it is kind of cool. Personally, it's kind of cool to see what Matthew Stafford's been doing. I remember coming into the season, we were all concerned about the Rams because Matthew Stafford isn't doing preseason. He's got back issues. Nobody knows what's going on with his back.
Right.
And the last 8 games, he's only thrown 25 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. It's kind of like, okay, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
Like whatever treatment he
Yeah.
was doing, like probably some of the 49ers need to get in on some of that because he came out like Superman. They're just playing really well on offense, really well on defense. Devontae Adams is looking really good. I think he was 32, 33 years old. I thought he was going to kind of take a little bit more of a drop off, and then he has. He's kind of seems like he's getting better and better and more comfortable in that offense every week. And then you got Puka Nacua as well. He kind of does whatever. I just want to talk about this. There was this cool route because I actually got to watch this game, but Puka Nacua started on the right hand side. They were under center and they did a little play action, and Puka Nacua was in like a jet motion, and he came and wrapped around the tackle and guard, and then he looped back around and did like a U after like a little in-break. And I was just like, holy cow, like Puka Nacua running that route, he was just wide open because of just the motion that he did between his eyes going in between the guard and tackle, and then he loops it back around to come back on the same side of the field
And
that
the
he
guy
started.
following him gets lost in
Yeah,
there.
I was like, holy cow, like this is like next level stuff that
I
they're
bet.
running here.
Yep.
I bet he absolutely hates that play call. He has to run
I know.
60 yards to get 5.
That's what I mean. And then he's running in between guard and tackle, so he's running through defensive linemen on top of it. But
Yeah.
it was a cool play design. I got to give it up to that. Their defense is playing well. Whether it's Jared Verse, whether it's Byron Murphy, whether it's Braden Fisk, or that other defensive end that's leading the league.
But it's always someone on their
Ford?
D-line.
It is, yeah. It's their D line is just so dominant, and they're so young, and it's just they're playing well right now, and they're going against the Panthers. I got them winning 30-17.
So excited when they have to start paying those guys because they're not keeping them all.
Yep.
Yeah, they have the Rams by 10.5. Totally okay with that. I kind of thought they might have it a little bit bigger, maybe just because the Panthers are at home. They kind of shaved off a couple of points, but yeah, I totally agree with Jared. I pretty much even have the same score. Can't remember what you said, but I got it 31-17. I think you said 30-17. So yeah, 31-17 Rams. Yeah, they're unfortunately, like you said, they are the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah. Yep. Next game, Jaguars Titans. I can't take the Titans this time around. I can't do it. I really want to, but the Jaguars they're explosive, man. Something about that offense. I still don't like Trevor. I still think he kind of looks like shit. But once it's finally in the receiver's hands, they look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And ETN looks good, so gotta take the Jaguars in this one. But I think it's gonna be the same score as the Titans game last week. I think it's gonna be 26-20.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence is weird. I got to watch a little bit of that game, and there was a couple throws that Trevor Lawrence makes, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why they probably pay him $55 million. And then there's like there's like more than a handful of plays where it's like, oh yeah, he probably should be making like $10 million a year. I just don't get it. Like he's like the biggest like hot and cold quarterback throughout a game that I've ever seen, because I don't know. He makes some bonehead plays, but he makes some really good plays. I like how ETN's kind of been playing. He seems like he's pretty explosive. I didn't expect that from him this year. But I do like how the Jaguars are playing a little bit better than the Titans. I think the Titans are starting to kind of figure it out, but Cam Ward just doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to. I was looking at their receiving core, and I was like, I do not know any of these guys. Like, none of them are ringing a
You
bell.
don't know anybody on a top 5 receiving core, man? What the hell?
Man. Like, even looking at that, I was just like, dude, I see none of these guys are just like, I can't even tell you where they played before, if they played
Yeah.
somewhere before. It doesn't seem like it because it's like they assembled their wide receiver room from like guys that were just doing tryouts or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like none of those guys, like, or at least the only guy I really remember is what
Calvin
Ridley,
Yeah.
supposed to be their star guy, and
He's out, I think.
Yeah. No,
he hasn't even really been that good since college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's still living off the hype he gained in college from being one of the better receivers.
I think
to
he
ever
had
play.
that one good year in Atlanta, and then he got caught with the gambling situation, and then he was suspended for a year. And ever since then, I think he's
Been
been
terrible.
Yeah. But I sorry, in a roundabout way, this is me telling you the Jaguars are going to win 24-23.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like it. I like how you broke down like the Titans' issues because it's not Cam Ward. I don't think he's the
Right.
problem. People are already calling him a bust, but I don't think he's a bust yet. In fact, I think that he has a hell of an arm, and once they get an
I
offense,
think-
they get an offensive mind and some receivers for him there. I think it's going to be really good.
I think he's the QB of the future for the Titans.
Yeah,
I think he's
I-
good.
I-
I like him. I think he's really good.
Yeah.
People are
So
tagging him as a bust in a second string his whole career, and I got a future star tag on that kid, man.
yeah, they got Jacksonville by 6.5, which I'm okay with. I totally think Jacksonville's defense is playing really well. We talked about how well their running game was going. I know they just barely squeaked that one out against the Cardinals. That wasn't the best game for Trevor Lawrence, like you mentioned, but I still think they got enough in them to beat the Titans. I got them winning 31-17.
Ooh, you're the only one that's got a good spread on that. Okay, next game is the Cardinals Bucks, and yeah, I mean you don't have to say much about this. The Bucks are taking it 42-10.
Oh wow.
I like the Bucks as well. I really don't like how the Bucks are playing. I wish their offense would take off a little bit more. I think they're missing Bucky Irving. I think they're missing Mike Evans. Brandon and I were talking before that we were kind of wishing that Emeka Ibuka would kind of take off, but he's kind of seemed like he's going on a downward trajectory. When he had the first probably month of the season, it seemed like he was rookie of the year on
Yep.
offense. But I think they're going to kind of figure it out. I don't like where the Cardinals at. Jonathan Gannon might be coaching for his job this last third of the season, I guess you can kind of say. I like the Bucks winning in a kind of a close game, 27-23.
Yeah, they have Tampa Bay by a 3.5. I'm okay with their spread there, but I don't know, man. When I first looked at it and I started going through it, I almost thought of a easy. They're just going to kind of blow them out, kind of a blowout victory. But then I started really going into it, and it's like, dude, I agree with Jared 100%. They haven't been playing that great, and I don't think their defense is good enough to let them blow out a team like that. And the Cardinals played the Jaguars real tough. Cardinals. I don't know. They're not great. They're not going to win, but I've got it Bucks winning this 24-23 in a really close game.
Wow. Okay, so I guess what I'm seeing that's different is even Brisket last season, he looked real good, and then he eventually shit the bed before, and that's why it was like week 4 when he finally totally shit the bed, and that's why we've seen Drake May, and I think he's due shit the bed and throw 3
Right.
picks.
And I know it's a game to game thing, but the Cardinals did what they did against the Jaguars defense. That's much better than this Buccaneers. And I do realize you still got to play the game and it's game to game, but that's why I feel like they're going to have some success against the Buccaneers defense. So
Fair enough. Next game is Vikings Seahawks, and we already talked about it, man. The Vikings, they're just not it this year. Yeah, I mean, I really love to be like, yeah, this NFC West team is going to lose, but the NFC might not lose this. The NFC West might not lose this week. Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks in a 28-7 win. I'll do all 4 of those touchdowns. So it could be JSN too, because that's the only person to
That's true,
drop
yep.
plays for.
yeah,
I actually got this pretty close to your score. I got the Seahawks winning 27-10. I don't think there's much to add. I don't think it matters who plays quarterback, and actually it might hurt the Vikings more if JJ's playing quarterback. So if he's not playing, it might be a little bit closer than 27-10, but if he's playing, it might be worse than 27-10. So that's why I kind of have it in between, maybe.
Okay, they got Seattle at 10.5, which is I'm totally okay with. But it does kind of suck that you have the Rams was a 10.5 point favorite. Now the Seahawks are a 10.5 point favorite. It doesn't bode well for the Niners catching up to these guys, especially when they're playing so good. Yeah, I like Seahawks in a blowout victory too. I got it 35-13. I have no faith in the Vikings right now. So
Uh, next game is Bills Steelers. Um, I'd love to see another bounce back game from Josh because he seems to do it. But we just seen a not great game from the Steelers defense, so they're due for a really good game. I'm breaking stuff here. It went back to preseason for some reason, but Steelers Bills. I gotta take the Steelers in it because their defense is finally gonna come around again, and I think it's probably gonna be like 14-13 Steelers.
This one was tough. We've talked about how the Steelers are just it's so hard to put a pin on this year. It's one game good, one game bad, one game good, one game bad, and they had a bad game last week. But if Mason Rudolph is playing quarterback, I don't like it. Aaron Rodgers really doesn't give you much more, but I think I trust Aaron Rodgers a little bit more than I trust Mason Rudolph.
You don't like Mason Rudolph?
I don't. I think something happened when Myles Garrett hit him with a helmet.
Yeah, that guy. No, that guy definitely was better, but he's a killer, man. I like my backup quarterbacks, man.
Yeah.
He's gonna come out and ball out, man.
Last I heard was Dalton Kincaid had a good chance of playing in this game. If he does, I like that for the Bills offense. I like, James Cook. I think they need to give him the ball 20 plus times a game. If they don't, I think they're probably in trouble. But I do like a bounce back game for the Bills and winning a close one, 28-23.
okay, they have Buffalo as a 3.5 point favorite, going against Steelers who are at home. And I mean, I can't get away from that. I really feel like that Josh Allen is going to have, like you said, a huge back comeback game here. But the Steelers, yeah, I don't know what we're going to think of those guys week to week because it is terrible. Their defense is just so up and down, up and down. But I like the Bills to win this one, 34-20. And yeah, because Aaron Rodgers is not starting for sure, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, I like the Bills, but I do think the Steelers are going to be able to put up a few points against this defense. But yeah, 34-20, Bills.
Cool. Next game is Raiders Chargers. This is probably my dumb upset of the week, but I'm taking the Raiders. Can take them in a 10-7 win here.
I'm on the boat with the Raiders like you were a couple weeks ago when you were talking about the Titans, how you're like, I'm probably not going to pick the Titans.
Yeah.
After watching the Shador-led Browns, and I know it had to be more about what the Browns were doing on defense to the Raiders, but Geno Smith, I couldn't have been more wrong about somebody coming into the season. I couldn't have been more wrong about a team coming in the season. They just fired Chip Kelly. I was kind of high on Chip Kelly coming in the year after what he kind of did with Ohio State last year. I think I even kind of compared to what Cliff Kingsbury was doing in Washington. I was like, oh, maybe this will be good for, Geno Smith and, Ashton Jeanty. But I'm going to go on a little bit of a soapbox. Like, Ashton Jeanty was 100% the wrong pick in this situation. They should have went with Armand Membu. Then you probably could have put somebody behind that offensive line and got more yardage than what you're getting behind Gentry. It's kind of a waste to kind of watch Gentry play because he doesn't have any blocking. It's kind of like you wasted a pick on somebody who's not going to get any yards because you didn't invest in an offensive line. Your quarterback sucks, and the franchise is, I don't know. It's the Raiders, so it's kind of disheartening. You'd almost want to see. I kind of want to see Genty in a better offense, a better situation where he's being more explosive. But it is what it is. The Raiders are the Raiders. I probably won't pick the Raiders again this year. So I got the Chargers winning a close game, 20-14.
The one reason I like Genty as a Raider, he fits the colors and he fits like the whole bad boy Raider theme.
That's true. Yeah, he looks good in that jersey.
He looks good in the jersey, and he is he's a menace, and that seems to be the Raiders' go-to is assholes.
I'll say that about Max Crosby too. Max Crosby looks good in the Raiders.
Yeah,
jersey. He fits that persona,
especially with all the
heck yeah.
tattoos and everything. Yep, they both fit the persona of a Raider. So
yeah, they got the Chargers as a 9.5 point favorite. I'm totally okay with that. I know the Chargers did not look good against the Jaguars, but I mean, this is the Raiders, and they haven't looked good against. I don't think they've looked good since the first week. So we talked about that earlier. Yeah, I don't expect a lot from them. I do think the Chargers are going to be able to do what they want against this Raiders defense. So I'm going to go Chargers 27-13.
Cool. Like I said, it's probably my dumb upset, but there's a chance.
Shit
There's always a
happens,
chance.
There's
though.
a chance, yeah.
Yep. Next game is going to be Broncos Commanders in Sunday Night Football. You tell me to predict this game at the start of the year, coming into the season.
Mhm.
Got a hell of a game. This point in the year, Bo Nix is going to do just enough, and that defense is going to lock him up, and it's going to be a 17-10 win for the Broncos.
Yeah, I like the Broncos as well. Commanders, we've kind of talked enough about what the Commanders' issues are. I don't know if Jaden Daniels is playing. I don't know if Terry McLaurin's playing. It's just, it kind of seems like that's the theme all season long. I don't like their defense at all. So I think this is a game that where Denver can actually kind of put up some points. Bo Nix can maybe kind of throw for more than 200 yards. So I got the Broncos winning 26-13.
Okay, they have Denver as a 6.5 point favorite. I actually thought it would be more.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be more up there with like the 9.5 or 10. But I like the Broncos for all the same reasons you guys said too. I think Bo Nix will have a lot more chances, and if they actually try to run the ball with RJ Harvey, they might actually be able to do that too. So I like the Broncos to win this one 24-7.
Yeah, when the hell are the Broncos going to move on from J.K. Dobbins and use their rookie halfback?
They're
who
going
has
to
been a
have to
baller?
now because Dobbins is out.
Yeah,
I think he's out for the season.
but it's
so.
like they just really hate RJ, so now
Right,
they're just
yeah.
going to have Bo Nix throw 4 passes just to get the ball to
Right.
their rookie halfback. It's crazy. Don't understand teams that do that. But our Monday night game, Dart's going to be playing in this one, right?
I don't know.
For Giants Patriots. I'm not sure how long his concussion protocol is. I mean, I think either way, it's a win for the Patriots. It just depends on whether the Giants put up 7 or 14 on whether Dart's playing or not. I know the Giants show a lot of flair, but I think at this point, they don't want to win. So they're already eliminated. There's no possible route to hit the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't see any point in them even trying to win. I mean, you got to make it look like you're trying, but wow, not trying. So I think the Patriots are going to do this pretty handily. Probably go like 28 nothing first half, and then just sit all the players, and it's just gonna be a hell of a second half, and everybody's gonna hate watching it. But Patriots 28 nothing.
Okay.
I really hope for a primetime game. I hope Jameis Winston's playing. I think he's just a good character for the NFL. I think he's got a funny personality. Plus, he actually plays pretty well every once in a while. Do you guys remember the Denver game last year when
Yeah.
he freaking threw for like almost 500 yards, but he also threw for like 3 interceptions?
Yep.
Those are just Jameis Winston games. I think he can kind of throw you to keep you in a game, but he can also throw you out of a game. So I got this one a little bit closer, and this is just a Jameis Winston prediction that he's going to kind of keep the game close, but he'll also throw a couple interceptions. I got the Patriots winning 28-24.
It's pretty awesome. It's about that guy. I mean, one just this fan interaction. He's super humble and a super good guy, but then it's also there's this one that I've seen like 6 times. It just keeps popping up on all my social medias, and it's funny as hell. So I watch it all the way through every time. But it's like you just gotta love the duality of James Winston. I mean, he comes out one time and throws an absolute dot right in the breadbasket on an 80-yard pass, and the next play he throws it straight to a linebacker.
Right.
In the same game, he just one perfect 60-yard dot right in the
Yeah.
breadbasket, and then the next one's just nobody around him. Just sees the linebacker, so he's open. Throw it to him. Why not?
Yeah, and a guy like that, I mean, they keep their career alive because you keep thinking, what if?
Yeah.
But they always move around a lot, and that's
Yeah.
what's happening with him. So they have New England as a 7.5 point favorite. So I mean, I'm okay with that, but it's like, man, the Giants just won't go away ever. Whether it's, I don't even know how they're getting it done. It's either like Wan'Dale Robinson or Theo Johnson, that tight end. I mean, they're always finding playmakers. And when you think like, okay, they've got nobody else to go to, or, they're done, they find somebody else who can make plays, and they just keep doing it. I think Wan'Dale Robinson had a huge game, if I
Yeah.
remember right, last week too. And Theo Johnson as that tight end, he looks pretty good. I still like the Patriots to win, But I think it's going to be another game where, like this Lions game this last weekend, I think it's going to have to come down to it. And I like Patriots to win in the end, probably about 34-27, but it'll be nail biter with the Giants coming down the field at the end. So,
Yeah, I actually think the Giants probably messed up firing their coach though. The guy DeBall was on the right pace with this team, and I think they would have given him a couple seasons to put it together.
I think
Would've been
they
awesome.
I feel like they gave him plenty of chances though. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised they went into this season with him. Like we talked about at the beginning, where they let him choose the quarterback and do all that. I think Jared brought that up. It's kind of rare, that they let him come in and
Yeah,
do that.
but I think he made a great choice in quarterback,
I think
a
he
great
did
choice
too.
in running back, and I don't know. I know their record doesn't show it, but I feel like when you watch them play, they look like an 8-win team.
So I wonder where they would be at right now if Neighbors didn't get hurt.
That's what I'm saying. I think if
Yeah.
Neighbors wasn't hurt, they were probably a 6-win
Scadaboo
team at
too.
this point.
I think they were Scadaboo was kind of giving them something too on that
Yep, and
offense.
Yeah.
Scadaboo. And well, I think they wasted most of Neighbors' games, if not all of them, when Wilson
Russell.
was playing.
Yeah,
And so if you have, that young rookie coming in and you got Scadaboo out there and you got all that, what they had going on there for a little while, we knew it was short lived because of the way they play the game. They were bound to get freaking hurt.
yeah.
But I do kind of wonder where they would be at. And I'm not saying they'd be in a playoff spot or playoff race, but I think they could easily have, like, not easily, but I think they could have 4 or 5 wins.
Yeah,
Put it
they
that
wouldn't
way.
be eliminated already.
Yeah.
I feel like if everybody was healthy, I feel like I feel like the Bull would still have his job.
Yeah. Even if Neighbors was there, I think that he's such a
Yeah.
weapon, and he proved himself early on in the season that he wasn't just a 1-year guy. Like Brian Thomas seems like he might have just been a 1-year guy. He's not really
Yeah.
doing it, but okay. So that game there is the game you're going to put your score on for the tie break when you're doing your things. So doing your picks, this will be fun. I like Thanksgiving. Gonna have some turkey, gonna have some ham. I'm smoking a turkey. Are you guys doing anything special? Cooking it any special way?
I'm working, so
You're working all day.
Uh, yeah, we got some Pinterest ideas going on.
nice.
Kaylin's doing some chocolate covered strawberries dipped
Ooh.
in adult fluids,
Yeah.
and alcohol.
adult bevies.
Trying
Yeah.
to adult beverages, and thinking about doing grapes
Yeah.
and dipping them in chocolate, and then drawing the laces on and do little football
Ooh,
grapes.
That'd be kind of
Heck
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have a couple beers while I'm smoking turkey. Gonna double smoke a ham because I'm already gonna have a ham that's been smoked. All
Oh,
that.
nice.
Gonna double smoke it and throw it in some pineapple juice and stuff like that. So gonna try some different stuff. I'm gonna sit around and cook all day and watch some
Watch
football.
football.
But
Heck yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
too much with the tradition. I try to get him to do brisket, but he won't. So
I'm saving it for Christmas.
There you go.
you could do
All
it
right,
for both.
guys. What's that?
So you could do it for both.
Yeah. Well, I have a brisket now. I don't want to waste it. I'm ready to do it for Christmas. But anyway, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We appreciate you listening, and we'll catch you next time.